We are back with another video. Yeah, I'm doing something a bit different with this video. I thought I'll throw in my love for movies to the channel. So these videos are going to be known as Mouth for Movies. Going to be doing like lists and reviews and that kind of stuff alongside my usual Mouth for Noise album reviews and whatnots. Today I wanted to do a top 5 list of my favourite horror movies. I'm going to do a couple of honourable mentions. The first honourable mention is going to be Child's Play 2. Yeah, for me, Child's Play 2 is a sequel that tops the first one, for one. I think it does everything. I just think it's a better movie. Chucky is bigger and badder in this one. The final act in the toy factory is fucking just stupendously great. Filmmaking, from the shots, the wide shots of all the dolls on the shelves to the way they ultimately killed Chucky in that movie. It's one of my favourites. It's one of those films that I always put on Halloween because it's one of my, it's honourable mention. It's not my it's not in my top 5, but it's up there in my top 10 for example. But yeah, Child's Play 2 is one of my honourable mentions. Second honourable mention is Nightmare on Elm Street 3: The Dream Warriors. Probably the best in the franchise in my opinion. You can debate that. Number 1's really good as well, but I just love everything about Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I love how they brought Nancy back and how the main Dream Warrior characters per se have their own powers within their dreams, and Nancy comes back to help them fight Freddy, and they got the balance for Freddy correct in this one. The balance of like scary Freddy with comedy Freddy, and that's what I like about this film. The sequels after this kind of went full comedy route, which I didn't really like. So yeah, this film is up there as well for one of those films I always put on Halloween as well. It's just probably one of the best sequels ever made, especially for a horror franchise. It's such a good sequel. Let's waste our time to get to my actual main top 5 list, so let's get into it. My number 5 favourite horror film ever would be The Thing from 1982, John Carpenter's The Thing. This film, man, like suspense and paranoia are the 2 words that I would describe this movie. It's a tale of suspense and alien terror. Directed by John Carpenter, The Thing is probably my favourite Carpenter film. Halloween fans, you can shout in the comments. The movie has such a claustrophobic and lonely atmosphere, and the characters throughout become more and more unsure as to who they can trust. The pacing, for me, is perfectly executed, as the film's slow burn breeds paranoia in you, the viewer, and yeah, you question who's going to transform into the Thing next. It's that constant cycle of like, who's going to be the Thing. The transformations and the gore sequences in this movie are so good. They're expertly done, and the practical effects in this movie has helped age the film very well, with its incredible practical effects in collaboration with the late Stan Winston. The Thing really showcases the timeless majesty of those practical effects and what also can be achieved with matte painting backgrounds, because they use a lot of matte painting backgrounds in this movie. It's just, I didn't even realise until later on after seeing the movie a few times. The blood test scene in particular is one of the most iconic scenes in 80s horror. Like, it's just suspense throughout the whole scene. You're on your edge of your seat going, holy shit, who's going to be next? Who's going to be the Thing? The ending itself as well, I think the ending's really good. It's created deep debate as to which survivor, MacReady or Childs, is really the Thing. It's a great ambiguous ending that had people talking for over 3 decades, and people are still doing it. It's still debated to this day. The Thing is a masterpiece in suspense horror, and it should be experienced by everyone. Yeah, Everyone, go and if you haven't seen The Thing from 1982, go and watch The Thing from 1982. It's outstanding. My number 4 is Evil Dead from 2013. Be it a remake, be it a reboot, or is it a sequel? Whatever you consider this movie to be, Evil Dead from 2013 to me is what I use to measure all horror remakes to. It's a high adrenaline, violent as fuck movie that I think really pays wonderful homage to the original movie. The lead character, Mia, is acted wonderfully, and the whole storytelling anchor that makes them stay at the cabin is so good that it allows the film to build even more tension throughout, because nobody believes what Mia is seeing and what she is experiencing, because they believe it's just her withdrawals. And it's a really good plot point to keep them at the cabin. The practical gore is just so good in this movie. Some of it makes me wince still to this day. It's brutal stuff, and there's a lot of gore, man. These kids in this film get absolutely brutalized to the point where the film is literally raining blood come the film's finale. In the cinema, I watched this with the biggest grin on my face and came out loving everything about it. There are some small points that I kind of just question, like the teacher character. He kind of, he's looking at the book and it tells him not to read it out loud, don't speak it and all that. And he just does it anyway because he's an idiot. I thought that was a bit silly, but you've got to have some stupidity in these horror films for it to make sense, for it to get to the horror, right? So yeah, I just felt it was a bit silly. Since the release, it's a movie I've never gotten sick of, and it's a definite Halloween staple for me. And yeah, this is a movie that I'll defend to the end. And for me, Evil Dead 2013 is often my pick over the original, because I just enjoy this one a bit more than the original. It's just that damn good. Yeah, so if you haven't seen Evil Dead 2013, I really highly recommend it. It's probably the best horror remake that I've seen anyway. So yeah, check it out. It's really good. My number 3 is Clive Barker's Candyman. If there is one film on this list that still scares me to this day, it would have to be Candyman. The whole film just revels in making you feel uncomfortable throughout the whole movie, especially and even when the titular character is not on screen. I find the story of Helen and her investigation of the Candyman urban legend to be very compelling, and it's gripping. And the film kind of shows her slowly going insane throughout the film, and it's wonderfully dark storytelling. It's so captivating to me. I just was gripped from start to finish. When the Candyman does show up, man, Tony Todd's presence fills the entire screen. His performance is somewhat charming and soft-spoken, while still being downright terrifying all at the same time. It's a testament to Tony Todd's performance here as Candyman. He just steals every scene he is in. He's the highlight of this movie. He is the Candyman. I also was surprised how this film ended when I first saw it a long time ago, but I've come to really love the way the film ends. It's seriously dark and kind of fucked up, but man, I love it. I love the way it ends. I think it's a brilliant bleak way to close out Helen's character arc in the movie. Yeah, this movie continues to get better with age, in my opinion, and I don't know why the fuck they will want to remake it. I don't know why they want to remake it, because in my mind, Candyman is already a perfect horror movie, and it still creeps me out and makes me uncomfortable with every watch. It's perfect. It's a perfect horror film, in my opinion. My number 2 is Ridley Scott's Alien from 1979. A friend of mine described Alien as a sci-fi horror movie with the tropes of a slasher film, and I really couldn't agree more with that statement. I think it describes the film quite well. I think it's kind of a haunted house movie in space, and it's one of the best of its kinds. The film has a slow burn, but I think that plays into the film's favour. You get to be slowly introduced to the characters. Ellen Ripley is the star of the show, of course, the strong female lead. That this is obviously the beginning of the Ripley character that we love now. But for me, it's a xenomorph. The xenomorph in this movie has stood the test of time as the most terrifying monster in cinema history. The xenomorph stands 8 foot tall and is just incredibly hostile, killing everything in its path to preserve its survival. Alien is just dripping with bleak atmosphere, and it never fails to keep me gripped on edge for the entire movie. Alien is a sci-fi horror masterpiece. There we get to the end. My number one. My number uno. My number one. You know, if you guys are horror fans, number one is not going to be a surprise to a lot of you. It's The Exorcist. And my words, this film. I only saw this film for the first time about 3 years ago. It was during a Halloween marathon around a friend's house. And we were doing like pick at random. We had this pick at random app, and we had a bunch of films stacked up. We were like, pick at random, boom, which one is it going to be? And it was The Exorcist. And I think it was the first choice, which was a great first choice. And I hadn't seen it before, and my word, I don't know why I hadn't seen the film earlier. Like, it's excellent in every manner of the word. Like, it has a compelling and like uncomfortable atmosphere throughout its runtime. It's the acting performances are just masterful. And that fucking ending just comes out of nowhere, man. Like, I wasn't expecting that ending, and I was like, what the fuck, that ending. Yeah, in some respects, the evil wins in this movie. As a straight up horror movie, it's best in class for me. It spearheaded the possession movie genre, and still is the best of that genre as well. It also has one of the most iconic horror themes ever put to film. With its main theme, it's just, everyone knows it, it's iconic. The film has aged amazingly well, to the point where I generally forgot it was made in the 70s. It's effective in its scares, and the pacing is perfect, pitch perfect pacing in this movie. I didn't want to miss a beat, and it really just engrossed me until the credits rolls. What a movie. Like, you know, it's not just one of the greatest horror movies ever, it's one of the greatest movies ever made, period. It's essential viewing. So that's it. That's my top 5 favourite horror movies of all time. Comment down below and let me know your favourite horror movies of all time. Be it top 5, top 10, whatever you want to give us. Comment down below. Hit that like button. Punch subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified for more videos. And I hope you're enjoying this new segment. Mouth for Movies. Look out for more reviews, top lists and whatnot. Until then, I'll see you later. I'm out. Goodbye.